Welcome to Camo Office Hours. I'm your host, Eden from Camo, and I have forgotten what the controls are for Overcooked, so I'm probably going to have to start that game over entirely. Shouts to everyone in the chat. Brusco, thank you for coming to hang out for a little bit and say hi, because no Camo live stream is the same without you, so good luck with your phone call and catch the replay whenever you get a chance. I see friend Saeed in the chat and the good guy. All of my usual Camo live stream friends. Thank you guys for joining today. We got Steve Kuban also in the house. Steve, so we are a bit of a free-flowing show. I'm usually live for at least an hour, but it just depends on the chat. If there's questions rolling in, I'm happy to answer them as I go. If you have any Camo questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll be demoing some things in Camo and answering some FAQs before questions start rolling in from the chat. I kind of let the live audience drive what the content is. Chris, my guy, I am going to send you, it is on my to-do list to shoot you a line to grab that calendar link from you so we can get a collab on the calendar now that I am back from my international holiday. And yeah, Saeed, I am a little bit guilty of that because I have been busy planning the show for today. So before I jump into taking any of your questions, I have some questions for you guys. We're always looking to learn a little bit more about our audience, so feel free to let me know I did a great job in designing this slideshow you're about to see. I'm just kidding, it's not a slideshow. It's just some questions that I had for you guys that I want to get an idea of what you guys, what type of content you guys create the most. Are you doing live streams like me? Are you signing on for 4-hour mega streams where you're just popping on a game and hopping on to hang out with your online community? Are you doing recorded videos, long form, classic, 16:9? Are you doing short form, vertical videos, or are you doing more video interviews? And so for friends like Saeed in the chat, I know you do a lot of webinars and presentations. I would say that falls under live streams or video interviews. So whichever one you feel like applies most to you and the content you create the most, please feel free to drop your answer into the chat, because the reason I'm asking you guys this is because last month on the live stream, I wanted to start to ask you guys a little bit more questions to better tailor our content. I'm not gonna lie, after that I went on holiday. I've just now gotten back from holiday and I'm reviving our content strategy a little bit, but I want to know what kind of content you guys create so I can create content that resonates with y'all. I see the good guy in the chat saying that you do short form videos. That seems like the place to be a lot of the time. Yo, Casual Games, I see you. What is up? How are you today? How have you been doing? Have you been doing your casual game streaming, which I still need to pop in on one of these days? And yeah, Saeed says recording trainings or workshops. So I would say that recording trainings / doing workshops fall under either like live long form videos or live streams. I don't know, kind of interviews though for you, because you are very interactive in your workshops and trainings. So I feel like people that do online webinars and presentations that do a really good job of making them engaging, like Saeed, it's sort of like a combination of all of the above. And Steve says, you're a live singer musician doing 2-hour live streams at 8 a.m. 7 days a week. Wow, that is awesome. Respect. If you would like to share your channel in the chat or in the comments below, feel free to do so. I would love to pop in and catch one of your live streams sometimes. I would like to drop in on more of our community's content. So if y'all want to share your channels, definitely feel free to do so. Casual Games does live streams and short and long form videos. Okay, so you're doing sort of all of the above, all different types of content, which is what I am trying to get better at. But I feel like live streams are the easiest for me to do because I don't overthink them as much as I do like the short form or the short form videos. Short form videos, I'm sitting here like thinking about what the hook should be for like an hour. So also, Doc Sunbae is in the chat. Hello, good to see you as always. 보고 싶어. Good to see you, miss you, and thanks for popping in. So that is the question number 1, survey question number 1, that if you'd like to share your answer, drop it in the chat. And now we're moving on to question number 2, because I clearly put a lot of thought into designing these scenes and making them look beautiful. Definitely did not put them together 2 hours before the stream started. But what type of content do you watch the most? Are you on the short form algorithm where you're just swiping and scrolling with TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts? Or are you watching video interviews or podcast interviews where it's like people talking back and forth a lot? Are you watching long form videos, the created, edited videos on YouTube? Or do you watch a lot of live streams? I would love to know what type of content y'all are watching the most. I can be perfectly honest, the content I'm watching the most is the Mission Impossible movies at the moment. They've been on Prime. I'm getting ready to go see the movie this weekend or next weekend. If you are a Mission Impossible movie fan, also let me know in the chat, because I feel like I've not heard enough people talk about the fact that they're going to go see Mission Impossible, which is definitely on my to-do list. So, yeah, if y'all are... Chris says he watches Doc Rock videos exclusively. So that is also my algorithm, is Doc Rock. I watch a lot of Doc Rock videos, constantly telling me to just do more content. But yeah, I'd love to know what type of content you guys watch. And oh my god, it is Khalil. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you are doing well. And Saeed says his squirrel brain twin, I also have a squirrel brain, can handle average of 10 minutes at the best. Anything longer only if you're a fan of the channel and the creator. Okay, well, I have been checking the time, and you have been here since the beginning, so you've been here for at least 7 minutes. I will do my best to keep your attention. Oh no, Khalil. So Khalil is a movie guy. He does great reviews about movies and TV shows in a really concise way, and whenever I watched his content, I would always know immediately whether I wanted to watch that TV show or movie. And he says Mission Impossible was a fun, flawed, good time, which that is all, that's all you're really asking for in a Mission Impossible movie at this point, is you want a good twist and turn. You don't care if the logic doesn't totally add up. We don't need to get into that. We don't need to break down the fact that Tom Cruise has been running for what seems like, 30 minutes at a sprint pace. But yeah, I'm excited to do that. All right, so I see Casual Game says watching a lot of live streams and long form videos. Anthony, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Good to see all my friends in here today. The good guy is watching video interviews. Awesome. I'd be curious to know if that's video interviews that are like podcasts that have made a shift to video, or in general just interview style video content. Let me know. And Steve says pretty busy and only catch news headlines online and work related video. Oh, so you did watch Mission Impossible. Good to know that it was fun. So I feel like I definitely fall into this sort of not algorithm rabbit hole, but so this is kind of related to my next question, which is what kind of video content do you watch the most? Is it funny / entertainment? Is it tutorials or how to, conversation, interviews, or other that I haven't covered? Feel free to share in the chat. So I find myself, like, I used to feel like, oh, after work I'd like sign off and just like watch a sitcom or a drama. But now I feel like because there's so much like useful video information, like Doc Rock's channel, like Chris Stone's channel, like Saeed's content, like that content, I feel like this, I've given myself this pressure to watch more content that is going to make me more productive. But sometimes I feel like I also just need to sign off at the end of the day and like turn my brain off and not feel like I have this pressure to like constantly be learning from the content that I'm consuming. So Anthony says you loved Final Reckoning. Okay, that's good to know. I just rewatched Dead Reckoning Part 1, which I guess is not, it's just Dead Reckoning, and Final Reckoning was going to be Part 2, and I'm very excited, and I will be excited to share my review on next office hours. Ernesto, good to see you again. Thanks for joining. Happy Thursday. We're talking about the types of content we create and the content that we consume. If you feel like sharing, what type of content you create and what type of content do you watch the most, that would be awesome. And Steve says Tom Cruise is amazing. He's been watching Mission Impossible since the days it first showed back in the day. You are a Mission Impossible OG, and I thought I was a Mission Impossible day one just because I'm obsessed with the first movie. I actually have a tattoo that's like a reference from the first Mission Impossible movie. Chris says it's a mix of learning new video editing techniques, music, documentaries, and entertainment. Okay, so it sounds like you have some balance in your viewing. Like you are watching productive stuff that's going to help you with your work and help you further develop your skills, but also music, documentaries, and entertainment that you don't have to think that much about. Okay, cool. Yeah, I totally agree. Casual games, I like to learn, and so I think I give myself this pressure, be like, oh my god, I need to be productive. I need to be like listening to something useful. Like I even fell off of listening to music for a while because I felt like listening to podcasts was like more productive in like kind of a fake way. Because I mean I was just listening to basketball podcasts. It wasn't anything actually productive, but because I was consuming information, I felt like I was more productive than if I was just listening to music. But I think I've learned that my brain also needs a break, and just to be able to turn off and be entertained sometimes. So it's a balance always. And look, Chris, you guys have a lot to look forward to as Pistons fans, okay? Historically, if you think about it, you guys are in a great position compared to like anything in the last 20 years. So yeah, Brunson out of the first round is funny. Ernesto says, I'm currently focused on school, but creating videos for school at the moment. Okay, cool. I'd love to know if your videos for school are, what type of videos? Like, are they just like, say, 3 to 5 minute videos on a certain topic, or are they longer? Yeah, I'm curious as to how long videos are these days also, because this is also something I overthink. I'm like, oh, I'll just do a 5-minute video, and then I want to add more stuff, and then I'm like, no one's going to sit through me talking for 20 minutes. But, I don't know. Some of you guys have been here for like 13, so we'll see. Yeah. Doc says, I have weird thoughts about signing off at the end of the day. We constantly hear that now, and people feel like they're not getting enough done. We never said that. We never said that before. Got more done and rested more. I'm definitely getting more productive rest because I actually do sleep hygiene now. And Doc also says, be careful what you say, as it will give you false information. That seems really real. That might be a little bit too real for me. And then your brains turn off when they need a break, like it or not. Listening to other people tell you how you need to run your brain. It is a recipe for disaster. That is so true. I mean, I'm just here to air out my thoughts and my self-awareness. So do not listen to me when I tell you, when I seem to be telling you what you should be doing with your brain time, because everyone knows their brain the best, at least people that are somewhat self-aware. Okay, so this is a Camo office hours, and I did promise to talk about some productive things, you know, but there is one more thing I wanted to share with you guys, which is that I did not create a specific slide for it, so I'm just going to go back to this first scene. But I wanted to share my calendar booking link with you guys, which is in the description in the video below. You can book a call with me from the link in the description below if you'd like to chat about content and what your goals are. I know I'm asking a lot of you guys live here. That's because y'all like me and Camo enough to hang out with me in the chat. But I know a lot of people catch this on replay and aren't able to make the live stream on the time that we are streaming at. So if you are catching the replay and you want a chance to talk to me about what your content you're creating and just feature requests about Camo or any major pain points you have about video content, grab a meeting slot from the Calendly link in the description below, because I want to do a lot more with our YouTube channel and our content, which I'm currently doing some strategizing on, and being able to talk to you guys is the best way to know if we are on the right track. So that is, Doc says, I know your brain and I'm scared. And yes, you should be. Doc knows me well. Doc knows me well. All right, Ernesto says he's doing 3 to 5 minute videos for school, educational videos. And what seems real is the VO3 from Google. Yo, I've been seeing some very cool demos of that online on the internets. And so since Ernesto brought up AI, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but that is something that I'll go back to slide number 3 for. And I feel like so much of my content algorithm is AI related, and like it's like updating like me on, it's probably Doc's videos if I'm being honest, a lot about like how to use the latest Google AI Studio to do better YouTube content, and in general just the people I follow on LinkedIn are often talking about AI tools. Chris Stone also talks a lot about AI tools and how he uses them in his content creation workflow. So yeah, I'm curious if AI and AI tools is something that you guys come across on your algorithm, or if it's just sort of us here in this tech space. We're constantly inundated with AI tools and AI updates. But sometimes I pop my head up out of tech and talk to like friends in other industries, and they don't get any AI stuff at all. So yeah, I'd love to know if you guys are getting a lot of AI content in your algorithms, and if that's something y'all are interested in actually in more content about it. Because if y'all are interested in talking about AI tools, I'm happy to share what I know and how I'm using it, even though I have a lot to learn myself. And yes, Anthony, that is what the entity wants. If y'all are joining us late, the entity is the Mission Impossible final boss bad guy. At least they were in Dead Reckoning Part 1, and I assume that they are making a very strong appearance in the Final Reckoning as well. So very excited to see Ethan Hunt take on the entity when I get to watching that. All right. And now some Camo tips that I promised you guys. Also, our friend Steve, if you're still here, I love to know if you are joining here because you are interested in Camo Studio for iPad, or if you are interested in learning more about Camo Studio on desktop, because they have slightly different functionalities at the moment that we're looking to align. But if I know which software you're more interested in learning about, I'm happy to talk a little bit more about that too. Saeed says he's mostly watching interviews, astrophysics and science and related topics, tutorials when you need help or inspiration. And Saeed also says, when I hear an AI voiceover, you skip the video. I feel like I have a confession to make, and that is that I may be like desensitized to that AI voiceover at this point. I'm so used to hearing it that it's I guess this is what the entity wants, is you just is for us to become desensitized to things that are AI, so it becomes less and less uncanny as we go. And yeah, AI tools videos get outdated very quickly, so it's so much just to keep up. All right, Steve is on Camo on Mac. That is good to know. And you use Ecamm currently for a live stream. So do I. That is also what I'm using right now for my live streams. So That's exciting to hear. Okay. I do want to address one FAQ before I switch over to desktop. And so one of the top questions we get on Camo Studio for iPad is this this default scene called circular has this picture-in-picture circle on it. And it used to be annoying because it was there because it was a actual shape, but now it is a border on your camera source that is in circle shape, so you no longer have that issue. But because I just saw that question the other day, I thought I'd share about it again. All right, now going to Camo Studio on Mac/desktop. Mac and Windows are the same Camo Studio experience. I'm actually going to switch to my webcam because I wanted to demo sort of the process of what Camo can do for you if you are just using a webcam. As many of us know, webcams do not provide the best quality out of the box and can have questionable software that comes with it as far as features go, but that is why Camo is here. I'm using a Cisco WebEx desk camera. It is their plug-in webcam, and this is what the camera view looks like when you first plug it in. So zoom is always going to be at 100% when you first plug in a new device, and no enhancements or adjustments will be on. So this is what you are seeing when you basically plug in a webcam out of the box. So zoom and pan, I know, seems like one of the most basic functions, but not all camera software offers it. And it is extremely useful because, as you can see right now, I am off center at 100% zoom. And if I just bump the zoom up a little bit, I can center myself a lot better in the video preview. Is that centered? There we go. I'm going to zoom a little bit out because I don't like to be that zoomed in, but there. So I start with zoom and pan because I think the first thing that I do when I'm setting up a new camera is to make sure I'm centered and framed how I want. And actually, I'm going to go back up to 120 a little bit. There we go. And now that I'm centered, that's when I look at other adjustments. This camo watermark is on by default, but if you click on this little icon here, it will turn it off. Even if you're using Camo free version, the watermark will be on by default, but you can just turn it off. That is also a commonly asked question. A lot of people complain about the watermark when they're using the free version. The watermark is not there permanently. You can just turn it off. So if you are new to Camo and you don't want the Camo watermark, that is totally fine. You just click this little icon here to turn it on and off. Any overlays, click once to turn it on and again to turn it off. You can also use this little clear overlay button, which looks like boxes with a little slash around it. So that is the easiest way to turn off or clear an overlay that you have added. All right, now that I have gotten myself framed and turned off the watermark, I'm going to turn on some image adjustments to make my video look a bit smoother, but I am going to check in on the chat real quick. Neil is here. What's up? Good to catch your live stream with Michael Forrest earlier today. And Saeed asks, have there been any major updates in Camo lately? That is an evergreen question, and the answer is Not yet, but we have some very fun stuff in testing that I hope we can actually share very soon, which I know I have said on the last live stream also, but I promise you we are hoping to share more updates sooner than later. Sometimes we run into things with testing, and when we thought something was ready and then we realize it's not quite ready. So hopefully we will be shipping a new feature for you guys to try out much sooner than later. Rock, Jay-Z, and BMC, it is good to see you here again. I'd love to know how your content is going. I know last time you were kind of just starting to dip your toes a little bit into the streaming space a little bit more. If you want to share about about how your content creation is going, I'd love an update. And the YouTube creator says, so this video is AI. That is a great question. You can make that decision for yourself whether you think this is AI or not. Because I don't know what the correct answer is for, is this video AI anymore? Kind of like, what do you want it? What do you want the answer to be? Because I feel like some people prefer AI. Anyway, okay, so back to getting my video set up for streaming or for any type of video. I know one of the major use cases that our Camo community uses Camo for is for video calls. So I'm going to set this up as if I am about to go on a Zoom call, and definitely want to turn on some portrait mode, which is this background blur effect. I'll turn it up a little bit more for more dramatic effect. So this is what it looks like turned all the way up, and I actually prefer it to be mostly turned down because I think the background blur looks the best when it is like very subtle. But this also kind of depends on how far away you are from your back wall as to how blurred or not blurred you want it to be. I'm pretty close to my wall, so I don't really need that much background blur for it to look convincing. So I usually never have it up more than, what is this, 10%? A little 10%. Maybe sometimes 25%. But yeah, portrait is probably one of our most popular background enhancements. That's with it off, and that's with it on. Just adds like a nice little touch of background blur. I'll just run through the rest of them while I'm here. Privacy mode will fully blur out your background. Portrait mode gives it a nice subtle blur so you can still see what's going on in the background. That depth of field effect that you can't get with most webcams. And portrait and privacy blur blurs it out, blurs everything out of your background entirely. And then replace mode is our virtual green screen, and this is also where you can add a virtual background. This is still one of my favorite virtual backgrounds that I have demoed to this day, and it's from when I was a panelist on the Digital Stage Summit. But yeah, here's just a few other examples of the background replacement in action. Ace Attorney from my favorite video game, which we might play a little bit of later in the stream. But for now, I'm just going to go back to image enhancements. And I see some questions rolling in. Ernesto, I know, question everything. I could be AI talking to you right now. Who knows? Rock Jay-Z and BMC says, I tried to do it again and I'm still trying to get it to work. I think last time you were trying to get your gaming console connected to the iPad or computer. I don't remember if you were on computer or iPad, but if you let me know, I can definitely try to help answer or unblock you in any way, if possible. Chef Kendad asks, what is the advantage of using Camo versus simply uploading to Drive from your iPhone? Okay, so this is a really good question because yes, you can just shoot with your phone and then upload it to your Drive and then bring it to your computer for shooting I mean, for editing or any other purposes that you're using it for. But Camo allows you to also use your phone camera live with your computer. So for example, if you if you wanted to do a Zoom call with Camo with your phone camera, but you have like notes on your computer, you don't want to take the call from your phone, you can use your phone as a camera source on your computer, if that makes sense. So you can also connect it to Ecamm, to StreamYard, to OBS, to stream directly to streaming platforms. And that way you're able to use more features like text overlays, multicam, depending on what what streaming software you're using. Camo basically brings in your phone as a camera source to be able to use with your computer in real time. So, for example, even if you do mostly shoot recorded videos, if you set up your phone to shoot at your studio or desk setup, you can record directly to your camera and you don't have to then airdrop or upload to your drive to get your video from your phone to your camera. So I hope that answers the question. I'm happy to elaborate more. Leonard Johnson, Zero Johnson says, Camo Studio for iPad overlays never show up on your stream and the overlays are from Stream Elements. Okay. When you say they don't show up on the stream, do they not show up at all? Like they're like, you put the overlay URL into the web form, but nothing pops up. I would love to know also if you see the sizing handles show up in Camo Studio for iPad, or if you just don't see anything at all. There is a known issue that we have with some overlays, especially I know from Stream Elements, that if the size isn't configured using their web overlay editor correctly, then it can resize weirdly in Camo. But we don't really have that many reports of overlays not showing up at all. So if you can just elaborate on whether it's not showing up at all and also what type of overlay. It might be best if you can share the overlay links that you're using to us at support@reincubate.com, which I just put in the chat, because with web overlay issues, usually it's the most helpful for us if we know exactly which one you're having an issue with. So that way we can look at it from our end and see if we need to get contact with Stream Elements and sort something out if there's something that's not working between the web overlays and Camo Studio for iPad. So yeah, let me know if it's not showing up at all or if it's any other issues, because I know we do have a known issue with some web overlays where the sizing doesn't work quite the way we want it to, but we're working on a fix for that, and I don't think we have had that many reports of web overlays not showing up at all. So yeah, a little bit more information would be really helpful. Saeed says he doesn't trust people who fully blur their background. It is very suspicious. I agree. Because I think that showing your background and where you are adds like a level of like it feels like you're making a more direct connection with the person that you are on a video call with, or whether you're actually on a call with them or if you're viewing them like on a live stream. I do sometimes can understand also if you're in like in a setting where you don't like for example, I know some people really don't like their kids to show up anywhere online or on any video calls that they do. So I can understand if they are in a situation where they think a child they might walk into the scene. I can understand people that have, like, I can understand why some people would choose to have their backgrounds fully blurred out or have a virtual green screen option. But in general, I agree. I prefer being able to I just feel like when you can see someone's full scene, it like it just feels like a more personal connection through video rather than having a background, having the background blurred. Doc says just clean your room. Well, you could clean your room, or you could just stand in front of the part of your room that's messy. So I put everything in that little pile behind me because I know people can't see it on screen. That's a little Camo tip that you probably weren't expecting, but if you put all of your unorganized stuff in a pile behind you where the camera can't see it, then you're good to go. Lloyd, good of you to join us. First time here, just started using Camo. Let me know if you are on Camo Studio for desktop or Camo Studio for iPad and what type of content you're creating, and if you have any questions about Camo and how to get started, I'm definitely happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll just be demoing some stuff as I go through the chat. Okay, Steve has a question, and he says, one of my greatest needs is being able to put lyrics on screen while singing songs. I'm just learning how to do it in Ecamm, but wondering if Camo will make it easier. So I think this depends on how you are trying to show your text on screen. Like, are you doing it karaoke style? Like, are you trying to do animations or just want to have the lyrics up? So being a avid Ecamm user myself, I will admit that it's probably easier to use Ecamm because Ecamm has a lot more flexibility with text functionality than we have in Camo at the moment. So I don't know if Doc is still in the chat, but it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do like lyrics karaoke style, I'll be perfectly honest with you, it is probably easier just to use Ecamm because there's a lot of things you can do with animations and a video file. But it depends on the type of the type of lyric effect that you are trying to achieve. Karaoke. I've Americanized my pronunciation of karaoke, but it's karaoke. Yes, I know, Doc. Okay, so Lloyd says he's using Camo Studio for Mac with iPhone to create devotionals and Bible studies. Cool. I'd love to know, are you streaming them or are you shooting recorded content? I'll do a little bit more in Camo Studio for for desktop. So right now, what's showing on the screen now, this is Camo Studio on desktop. This is the Camo Studio desktop interface. And I am currently demoing setting up having actual good lighting. But if you are in a pinch, our spotlight feature increases the contrast between the speaker and their background. So if you are in a situation where you have like really dreadful low light, spotlight can actually make a big difference. Here, let me turn down my lighting and demo it, see if it helps get the point across. Okay, so right now my lighting is not great. I'm using a webcam and I have not ideal lighting for lighting my face. If I turn spotlight on, I'm gonna turn it way up for dramatic effect. You can see that it puts like a little bit of a highlighter effect or spotlight on me as the subject while subtly darkening the background. So I'm gonna turn it off and then on again. So I know it's called spotlight, kind of feel like it should be called highlight because it like highlights your face or the subject of the camera, but it's spotlight is really good in a pinch. And sometimes even when I do have my good lighting on, I still turn it on sometimes. Here, let me turn my regular lighting back on. Because also a little tip is that a lot of people feel like they don't get great results from their webcams, and that's because you're using a webcam. But if you have good lighting, like really good lighting that is meant to be used for video, like nan lights, aperture, or like I'm using an Elgato key light. Lights that are meant for video can really help out webcams. So that's just a little tip also, because I have like a lot of webcams. I can see 2 other webcams in my field of view at the moment, and they all work differently they all process light differently. That's what I was trying to say, is that they all process light differently, and having good lighting can really make a big difference depending on the webcam or camera that you're using. I guess that doesn't just go for webcams, that goes for any camera. But spotlight can really help you when you're in a pinch. So even though I turned my lighting back on, I will keep spotlight still on also for dramatic effect. Doc says, for karaoke style lyrics, use Final Cut Pro or DaVinci and save it as a transparent overlay. That would be the easiest way to get that loaded in to Ecamm, I think. And Lloyd says he's recording and editing, so no live streams yet. All right, well, when you're ready for live streaming, let us know. We love live streaming here at Camo and in this community in general, so definitely feel free to share any of your video creation questions or pain points that you have. Saeed and Doc and Chris, who are in the chat, all do a lot of video and video related stuff, and we are all happy to chime in and answer any questions that y'all have. Pie Eater 84 says, you just set up your Xbox Series X to stream via iPad using the Elgato 4KX, all set up and working fine. Is there a way to add an external mic to the setup along with an external camera? Okay, so yes, there is the short answer, although you will need a powered hub if you are connecting more than one item to your iPad. And I'm not totally familiar with Xboxes because I'm a handheld console girly, and I retired from console gaming with NBA 2K14 because that's when my Xbox Elite died. But if you already have the Xbox coming into the iPad and you want to bring in a mic, you're definitely going to need a hub. And if you want to connect a external camera, you will also need a hub. And if you want to have, which I'm assuming you do because most people that do game streaming want both their game audio and mic audio, we have tips for how to mix audio using Camo Studio for iPad. That there are a few different ways to do. You can use an audio interface, or you can use Camo camera to add a secondary audio source. But step number 1 is that you definitely need a powered hub, and I would recommend a actual, like, a lot of hubs are labeled as powered hubs. I mean one that has its own power brick. So I used a OWC Thunderbolt hub with my iPad because it has its own power brick, and actually it's an actual powered hub. I'm just saying I've done a lot of research and recommending for powered hubs, and most powered hubs you search for, the first results you get are going to be not actual powered ones. They're going to look like this and say it's a powered hub, but if it doesn't come with its own power brick, it's not actually powered. Okay, so Leonard Zero Johnson says, will the Camo Studio app for iPad get update because iPad gets really warm and the overlays from Stream Elements never show up? It's a black border. Okay, that's interesting. I have not heard black border before, so please write into us if you don't mind to support@reincubate.com with the overlay link that you're trying to use. And if you have a screenshot of what it does, the black border, Yeah, we would love to look into that. We are hoping to push out a Camo Studio for iPad update very soon, and that does have some fixes regarding overlays. Some of the issues I mentioned earlier should be fixed. Hopefully that update will be coming sooner than later. But in the meantime, please do still write into support@reincubate.com, because we have, I don't think we have heard of the black border issue, and we definitely want to look into it. And yeah, please, yeah, shoot us an email. Spotlight, I'm so glad you like it. Lloyd says, when will 4K be allowed to use in third-party websites like Riverside with iPhone? If you could clarify your question, do you mean that when you're in Riverside you can't choose 4K, or? Because if you have Camo, if you're using Camo Pro, you should be able to get 4K from your iPhone. And if you then have Camo selected in Riverside, I don't use I have used Riverside before, I just haven't used it in a really long time. So I'm not sure if you mean that, like, where the 4K limitation is. If you can clarify, I'm happy to look into it and see if we can get it sorted out. Mods Club says portrait is also a good one. I think you mean portrait mode, hopefully. Portrait mode is probably our most popular feature. And I have not yet pre-ordered a Switch 2, although I am eyeing it. I'm still on the Switch Gen 1, and it is really slow, so I'm thinking about upgrading. CalDigit TS3 or TS4. Yeah, CalDigit I've heard great things about. I'm pretty sure Doc has a CalDigit Thunderbolt powered hub. I just happened to use the OWC one because I think it was on sale. But yeah, CalDigit and OWC all make sort of, it's the same form factor. It's like this little cute little mini thing, and it has its own power brick. Highly recommend. So Mods Club, you can stream to TikTok if you can get your stream key from TikTok and stream address. I talked to someone from TikTok when I met them at TwitchCon last year, and they said that they were trying to make it easier for more people to be able to make streaming more accessible to everyone. But the last time I heard someone that was trying to stream to TikTok, it was still a bit of a battle to get the stream key and stream address from them. But we are also hoping to work with TikTok and see if we can get a native streaming integration in with them. Okay, Lloyd says it's only picking up to 1080p unless you're missing something. Okay, I might need you to write into us at support@reincubate.com and let us know, if you have 1080p, you should be able to get 4K in Camo, unless you're using a really, really, really old iPhone. Let me know which model iPhone you're using. If it's anything after 11, you should be fine though. So, but yeah, let me know. And if it's something on the Riverside end, you might have to ask Riverside why it's limiting you to 1080. And I would also be curious to know if you try like a different camera, if you're able to get 4K. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean by it's only picking up 1080p. Is that in Camo or is that in Riverside? Okay, yeah, so if you're using an iPhone 16 Pro Max, you should be able to get 4K without any issues on your iPhone. All right. We have about 10 minutes left. I'm going to finish setting up my webcam, but feel free to drop questions in to the chat in the last 10 minutes. Last call, not last call for questions, but kind of last call for questions, depending on how long it takes me to answer questions. But next up, we have filters, which I love to demo the filter gallery. Because the filter gallery makes it really easy to see all of the available LUTs that you have added in Camo and what they will look like. So when I have my rosy pink background lights on, I like to use Warm for that like pink glow. Sunkissed is also sort of like a different version of Warm that I really like. And you can see if I switch it to the Cool gallery, the Cool filter, it looks more purple than pink, because that is what LUTs do. They change the way that the color is processed in your video. So warm LUTs will make your video look warm, or cool LUTs will make your video look cooler. We also have a slider for white balance, but that's a different feature. But yeah, I just really like the filter gallery and being able to see all of the filters at once. The gallery also has this cute little refresh button. So like usually when I activate the filter gallery, it's like this awkward view of me talking with my mouth half open. But if you refresh it, you can make sure you're posed nicely. So rather than an awkward shot of you. But anyway, okay, I am closing the filter gallery for now. Like many things in the Camo interface, we have sliders because we want you to be able to fine-tune your adjustments to look exactly, get your video looking exactly how you want it. So you can go full extreme cool, or have it turned super way down, or have it somewhere in the middle. And yeah, playing with the sliders just help you get your video dialed in exactly how you want. But I'm gonna dial that portrait mode back down a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna turn off the gallery. And earlier I just demoed, using lookup tables to change the white balance or temperature of your video, but we also have a slider for that. And if I'm being honest, it doesn't matter which camera I'm using, whether it's a webcam, my iPhone, or other webcam. The white balance is probably usually I have everything on auto because I feel like auto does a pretty good job, but like right now, for example, I feel like I look pretty cool. Not like actually cool, but I mean temperature-wise cool. So I would like to bump up the warmth a little bit, although I look super warm at the moment. So I'm just gonna turn that back on auto. Should I turn on the filter again? There we go. Cool filter. Maybe too cool. Okay, sorry, focus. Back to no adjustments. All right. And then brightness, hue, saturation, and vibrance and contrast. If you have ever edited a photo or a video on your iPhone, you'll be familiar with these functions. I have pretty good lighting, so I don't need to add that much brightness at the moment, but it actually did help a little bit. I was a little bit more, I was less bright than I thought I was, I guess. All right, just gonna check in on the chat for any last minute questions. I'm also going to turn up the vibrance a little bit. Turn down the saturation a little, because I feel like the camera was using too much of my pink lighting to calibrate. Okay. Saeed says, I like that the preview uses an actual image of you, not some random stock photo dude. Okay. Thank you for saying this, because I have something funny to confess, and that is we also have LUTs on Camo Studio for iPad. However, we do not have the gallery the same way that we do on the desktop version. And I've been pushing for it because I'm like, people love the preview of the LUT gallery on the desktop, but we don't have it for iPad. It looks like this. It is some random stock photo dude, according to Saeed. So I'm screenshotting your comment and sending it straight to the dev team so they know that we need to add the filter preview feature to Camo Studio for iPad. All right, and Doc says Camo can send 4K. It's probably Riverside. Just try going to YouTube or using any other streaming service directly and see if it will let you do a 4K, because that will let you know whether it's a Camo question or not. Thank you, Doc. I learned everything I know from Doc, so it's actually probably Doc teleporting into my brain at the moment using AI. Okay, Saeed. Shouldn't be the other way around. The more Kelvin, the colder, the more blue. You're confused. I am too. That's all I have for you, because I've heard that the more Kelvin, it is the cooler, and that we have it backwards in the Camo Studio for desktop interface. But I would never admit that out loud. So all I can say is that you might be right. Armodin Sergey, good to see you in the chat. I don't know what time it is where you are. I have a feeling that it's not a normal time, but I appreciate your support for popping in as always. And since you're here, Sergey, I'm gonna play some video games for the last 5 minutes. Although, if you were here at the very beginning of the stream, you will know that I have forgotten all of the controls to this game. So I'm gonna play the tutorial level for the last 5 minutes while I see if any last minute questions or comments roll in. And Doc says high Kelvin is blue and less Kelvin is warmer. So can you say that? Can you explain that to me like I'm 5? If the temperature is higher, should I be more blue or less blue? Let me know, because I don't. Oh, I should turn on full screen mode for the gaming segment of my live streams. There we go. Last call for questions, Camo questions, and I am really hoping that by the next time I go live, I have exciting new stuff to share with you guys. That's a little thing I like to call a tease. Tease for upcoming future content. Okay, so 5600K is cooler and blue, and 2700K is warmer and more orange. So the higher in Kelvin is blue and less Kelvin is warmer. I now understand what you mean, and I'm definitely not checking this really quick to see what it is in Camo. So we have I think Saeed was right, and that we have it backwards according to Doc's explanation of 5600K is cooler and bluer and 2700K is warmer. Yo, I am practicing. Actually, I've fallen off of practicing a little bit. I still have my streak going, but I've fallen off a little bit. I'll be perfectly honest, because I went to Taiwan for like 2 weeks and just practiced a lot of Chinese and practiced there. And as a result, I have forgotten a lot of the other languages I was studying. But I fired it back up today. And I forgot how to say study, but I was gonna say I studied today. 오늘은 연습했어? No, that's I practiced today, not studied. 공부했어? Or is that Japanese? 勉強します. Is that Japanese? Did I get that right? 勉強します. Okay. Oh, I did not want to swap chefs. Chopping some lettuce. Doc says Saeed the facilitator is always right. Probably. Okay, wait, where is my chef? If you are still here, we have reached the overtime segment of Camo office hours, where I just do some casual gaming. Is our friend Casual Games still here? Probably not, but I'm doing some casual games right now. Playing some casual games. 저는 한국어 공부를 더 해야 해요. Me too. Me too. I need to study more. Yo, we should practice together. Should be my secret language buddy. Oh, I did not mean to grab a tomato. I meant to grab a lettuce. Chopping board. Okay, I feel like I am remembering the controls now, but this is like the hard part, which is like switching chefs. Let me know if you guys have played any Overcooked in the chat, because I went through like a major phase with Overcooked when it came out like a couple of years ago. There was this one time where I was stuck at the airport. There was a massive delay. I was at the airport for like 7 hours and all I did was play Overcooked. So, yeah. Okay. Tomato. 좋아. Grab a lettuce. Time to chop some more lettuce. Is there a tournament mode or like a PvP mode on Overcooked? Because I would like to play some Overcooked against like a friend or something. Yeah, I have to get better at the chef switching again, so I can multitask and chop a tomato while... See, I need to put it in action and then switch to the other chef. There we go. Oh, I'm supposed to serve a tomato with a lettuce. That was what I did wrong. Not serve the tomato and lettuce separately. Next office hours in Japanese then. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. That's the only thing I can say fluently. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. I said that to someone one time and they thought I knew how to speak Japanese, and I was like, no, I just know how to say that one line really well. And I used to... What's that one line from Conan? There's his signature line when he figures out who the criminal is, and that's そういうだったのか. Okay, Doc. Well, I look forward to Japanese office hours. I will be there. Yoroshiku. Oh, wait. I just realized that I had my video blocking the cucumber, which is what I needed, and I accidentally grabbed a lettuce instead. So now I'm going to chop this cucumber. Okay, the controls are like totally coming back to me now. And chop the tomato, pick up the cucumber, put it with the lettuce, and then switch to my other guy and bring the tomato here. Whoops. Yogi. There we go. All right. I have exhibited some exemplary culinary skills. And like me when my spoken language, I only know some. I also feel like I'm really good at doing language practice when I don't need it, and then when I actually want to use it, I don't know how to say anything. But I'm constantly doing translations in my head. I'm not good at translating on demand when I actually need it. Saeed says you only need to learn what next time I have exciting news for you in Japanese. All right, let me ask Duolingo real quick. Actually, my Japanese reading has gotten quite bad, if I'm being honest. I never know which pronunciation to use. On that note, because I will get distracted and play... Ooh, y'all want to do Duolingo study with me as my demo next time? We can do language study for the last wind down, for the overtime segment of office hours. I'll do language study, and I can load up Duolingo on the iPad and demo that. And that will be my demo session. Mods Club. Is there a way to play Player Underground Battle, whatever it is, on iPad while streaming? You should be able to. It's on iPad, isn't it? Isn't PUBG? I'm too old for PUBG. But if it's on iOS, you should be able to add it as a apps on this iPad camera source. And it won't look like this. We're working on some changes to make this more clear what the end result will look like. But basically, you can stream apps on this iPad and have your camera and a little pip using the system picture-in-picture. But yeah, if it's available on the iPad, you should be able to stream from the iPad if you have an M1 iPad or newer without needing a capture card. All right, I'm seeing a lot of yeses, and I'm hoping that is to my Duolingo as the overtime segment of Camo. But yeah, thank you guys all for joining me as always. Thank you for the questions. If you feel like sharing what type of content y'all are creating in the chat or in the comments below, I'd love to get to know y'all a little bit better. Also, feel free to use my calendar booking link in the YouTube description. Also, if you want to hop on a call with me and we can talk about stuff one-on-one with like what you're doing with video and any of your pain points or blockers that you have, I'm here to serve the Camo community, and I hope that I get to connect with you guys soon. See y'all later for Duolingo practice next time.